Since I ordered another Pi, I'm gonna have to take this thing apart. It's not much to do, like I have to solder a 40 pin female header on the new Pi, and then just like detach it, reattach it. But I think I'm gonna redesign the feet because this current design, the bottom is flat all the way across. I think it would be better if there were just 3 points of contact, like this, this, and that, and the other part is like an arch, or it's just like raised up. It's not really a hard design change, but what I was also thinking about maybe putting the IMU like directly, watch out, go away. Putting the IMU directly on the floor. Because right now it's elevated. And I don't know if that'll make a difference. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I think the other thing I'm gonna do, which may not make sense, but I'm on focus. Yeah, I think I'm gonna mount these like, if you rotate them to the right so the wires are at the top of the IMU. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm gonna try it. Why the wires won't like dampen the vibrations. So right now the wires are like hanging off the IMUs, and then in theory that's like absorbing vibrations. I don't know, it's possible I'll just abandon IMUs and just go pure visual. But I don't know. It's kind of in the name to have the IMUs. I've been thinking about this more, and I think, well, I thought of a couple things, but one is like the touch points need to be like a single point, like a round ball. And then the other thing is, for the IMU mount, I was thinking I could like flip them upside down and have like a piece of plastic that directly touches the IMU, and that's where the touch point with the ground is. So like it literally has to go through that when it vibrates, versus on the sides over here with the screws, and then it like kind of isolates the IMU. So I think it will still be in this orientation, like flat, but the point that touches the ground will directly hit this black piece, which is the IMU chip. That should improve the vibration pickup a lot more. See, there's too much like surface area touching to spread it out. So yeah, that'll be the new design. So I'm gonna flip them upside down. I can take this thing apart anyway. I wish I had the new Pi 02 now, so I could just build it. Oh well. Still not enough. Alright, so it'll be like that. These are bread ties. Bread tie! You got it wrong. Bread fan? Any bread fans? Oh! Cut out those wires. Oh man, that actually sucks. Alright, so it'll have to be taller. And then, what am I doing? I gotta make like an L, or not an L, like a T shape that the screws mount the thing down like that, but then the single contact point that extends downwards and touches the ground is sitting on top of the IMU, and then I guess it'll be like a little piece that goes back and then angles backwards. And over here, this T-bar thing, I'm gonna make it a pointy at the end here, like a 2 or 3 triangles, like end to end, and then so then you'll have 3 points touching the ground, and then the vibrations will hit the IMU directly, except for the back part. If you're interested with playing around with hardware stuff, that's probably one of the most important things you can have. Digital caliper. That's how you like translate, reality to digital. Vice versa. Dimensions, baby. I use inches though, like a scrub, but what are you gonna do? So here you can see the new design. This is the old one. The IMU is kind of just floating in the air like that. But now, this cylinder thing directly touches it, and then the ground contact is right there. I did decide that I'm gonna attach like this part to the body, because then it's like a moment arm. I don't know, I think that'll just increase the, I don't know, maybe it's better to just have it directly downwards, but I don't want to like make another piece. It's easier to just extend this part to the Y thing. This I have to change. I might just like flip it upside down. The main thing is just that this shouldn't touch the ground. For some reason I feel like this raised edge thing should be on the bottom. Doesn't really matter, but and then I will make the change to the T-bar thing so that it has like the point on it, and then there will be a bump where it stops sliding into this thing. It was supposed to be like friction design, but I'll just end up gluing them together because then it won't like have slop. See, I'll just test print these things by themselves and then see how that works before attaching it and having the final design. So I printed this piece out and it is not right. It's short. Let's see if I can show this. Yeah, so there's a gap there. Which is odd because in the design it's flush. So one of these measurements is wrong. A funny thing to point out is the precision of your printer. Like, this is supposed to be a square pyramid, but it was printed like a cone. I think because of, the smallest thing my printer can print. So I did end up expanding that point, so it's not supposed to be a point, it's supposed to be like a little square. But it's so small that the printer can't do it. So I made it a little wider. But I'm still verifying the IMU raising thing. Oh man, this time it's too tall. So I think what happened is I printed it. Yeah, I printed it face down like that, and the my printer bed like has a sagging area, so I make the nozzle pretty much run into the ground to stick as bad. But I think it squished the height. You can see it flare out like that. Elephant foot they call it, or something. This one was printed this way, so there were supports. So what I did was just keep this and reduce the cylinder heights there back to the original. See if that'll fit. It's just time waiting. Printer takes like 10 some minutes more to heat up. And the print itself is just 9 minutes. Alright, yep, this is the one. The measurements were correct. I just had to avoid the squishing. So now I gotta extend it and attach it here. I gotta modify this one. It's got like a stop, slides in, glue it. Otherwise it's the same. Here are the new parts printed. Can see the change in design. Skinnier. I tapered the thing outwards. But the main thing is these contact points. So the IMU, like one side has that contact point, the other has that one, and then the T stand thing, T beam, has a contact point as well. It's a little loose actually, it's not that snug. So I'll use glue to keep that together, but you can see the 3 contact points there when it hits the ground now. Versus like everything touching the ground. So I think that'll improve the sensitivity and vibration. So yeah, I'll reassemble that. Alright, so I got some parts in. Got a new Pi 02. And I bought 2 microphones. This is for modular Pi cam, not for the... I guess I shouldn't talk about it. I had to get more solder because I ran out. So I'll solder the 40 pin header on there. And then swap all the parts out. And then this is a right angle power. So that should pull the weight downwards versus sideways. That should be the only wire powering it. In the future I can look into adding a battery and charging it and whatever, having it wireless, but that's a future nice to have. Alright, I got it soldered down there. I just swap all the parts over, screws. It's kind of cool, it just detaches. Like this is a chassis or whatever. And the wires and IMUs are over there. So I've got it mostly back together. There is a gap between the IMUs and the connection because the screws, like when he pulls down the IMU, it like lifts it upwards to turn that way. So what I'm gonna do, which is nasty, is I'm just gonna glue the plastic to the IMU so like it's definitely attached. I don't know if it's really, because the well, the contact point is there. The thing is attached to this arm. Like I wanted it to be, you know, if you see there, that point like touches the IMU supposedly. You can see that gap there. But yeah, I think if I connect them with glue, then it'll definitely transfer it. I was thinking what I can do is put tape, but I don't know if that would act like a absorption layer more than transfer. I don't know. There's nothing scientific about what I'm doing. The other thing I'll point out is bad about this build is these wires are not like isolated. I don't know if that means they're noisy. You know, like does it have to be a coaxial cable or what? Does it not matter? So I don't know. I don't like the idea of glue. It's possible you just rip the sensor off when you take these off eventually one day. So I'll just use some tape. This might be too thick, but the compression might be good. But this, again, it's foam though, I don't know. I think I'll just use some tape like I talked about earlier. Alright, so I added 2 squares of electrical tape that are a little larger than the IMU. They're sitting on top under the rod things. Can't get good lighting on that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see it. And then the whole point of this is when you look at the base now, those are the only points of contact. Those things. Looks freaking ugly, gotta say. And the back one there. Now I'll just do a quick test. The values are negative now, but I don't know if it actually makes much of a difference. So this is sampling at 50 milliseconds. Tap, tap. Down registered. So that's on the pad. I'm not sure if the wire impacts it. So look at it. I see. So when it does like an up-down wiggle, I think that's it. Huh. I'm gonna have to look into this more, like filtering, because like just watching it, like sitting on the desk, it's all over the place. Like why? What are those spikes? Yeah, like right there. Why? Why did that happen? Probably gotta come up with a different charting thing too, so it's not like. Oh, I mentioned it before. I gotta change the scaling so it's not dynamic.